Okay. So in your eighth house, you see here usually what we call empty houses. Empty houses does not mean that there's nothing to work on. It's just that it's not part of. It's not really that important.
Mm.
However, there's always something there though. There's always something. It's just not as important, so to speak. Like it's not your focus. Like your soul didn't is not focusing on it now.
Mm. Yeah.
Okay. So let's see here. We have your 11th house, which is right here, which is the house of communities, groups. Um, it's also it's the opposite of the fifth house. So that means it's like the fifth house. The fifth house is the love you give because it's ruled by Leo. Um, as you grew old, as you were growing up, that was something that kind of what felt blocked for you. It's almost like you just didn't know how to, right?
Yep.
And yeah, and you often kind of found ways to heal on your own, kind of like in it's you have Haumea conjunct Jupiter here. This is Jupiter. We never really talked about Jupiter. And it's funny because Jupiter rules Sagittarius. And what that means is that a lot of your North Node has a lot to do with this regenerational thing. So what that means is regenerational. I mean like finding your own inner nature.
Mm.
Remember we talked about like that's I think that's why you're into Circe and witchcraft. Circe is like that too. She's because it's magic, it works with things that are more natural. And Haumea is like that. Haumea is fertility. Okay, so she was the Hawaiian goddess of fertility. She's about regeneration, healing, rehabilitation, but also preservation. She's basically Mother Nature, Gaia. So it's our inner nature, basically. Um, but she's also about magic, alchemy, potions,
Mm.
those kind of things. And also, guess what? Anti-aging products. So anything to do with skincare, anything to do with revival of your youth and it's both youth and maturity. That's Haumea. So she has a lot to do with plants, trees, fruits, flowers, seeds, conservatories, ecosystems. Um, so again, also boundaries. So she rules like cell walls, exoskeletons, the external parts of the body. She also rules the cycles. So whatever your cycles you're going through, it ties in with what we went through earlier. Remember, we had Circe, Australia, a bunch of asteroids together with, or conjunct. It's called conjunct. It's together with your North Node. Those things. That's part of it. But your North Node is in Sagittarius, so your focus is you're being called to focus more on this area of your life. Something to do with like a lot of nature stuff, growing, maybe farming, maybe some sort of gardening, maybe something to do with tied to the whole magic thing, tied to the whole. It's earthly magic, earth magic. Yeah.
Mm.
But also standing your ground, that whole like, this is what's right for me, and working through that darkness, working through the trauma, past life, maybe past life, but more like at least early life stuff. Oh, now I remember your question. You said earlier about past life with Chiron. Ah, yes, because it's in the fourth house, your trauma that experience, the wounding of like identity is from your line, your lineage. It's part of your heritage.
Mm.
Yeah. So whatever it was in your family that was happening, it could also be health as well. It could also be the immune system stuff that was carried on. Maybe past life, like your ancestors, actual human ancestors, were maybe had issues with either they had low immune system, good immune system, or fluctuating immune system. because it
Mm.
is. I mean, it's Leo, but with the I say fluctuating because it's fire. So that means that it could be like one generation probably had like, it was probably really good, and the other generation didn't have it, or a mix. So it could have, but definitely it has a lot to do with vitality, their health as well. Um, but I
For
also
my
see here, I forgot. Yeah, go ahead.
mm, for my parents, I would expect a abandonment trauma or something along those lines,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe also something around finances.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But I don't know my whole family tree.
Okay.
It's just the last two generations, let's say.
Well, I didn't get to see this earlier, but in when you were born, so we're going to go into your progressions in a bit here. But I also noticed you have Orcus and Pholus there. I forgot to mention this. These are dwarf planets. These are actually Pholus is a centaur. Orcus is a planet past Pluto. Actually,
Mm.
it's kind of beside Pluto. It's right there. Um, and Orcus is about integrity. Um, any sort of like agreements that maybe your family line went through, or like at least when you were younger, at least. Um, they probably made certain decisions that questioned that made you question their integrity, and you didn't know if you could, maybe could trust that. Um,
Yeah,
that's yeah.
more.
Mm.
It was. I think it was more subconscious. Like I felt
Sure.
something
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
wrong,
Yes.
but I didn't know exactly what.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I wanted to go back into the body thing because what happens is that when it comes to the fourth house is about uh, DNA. It's about DNA. So I'm going to go back into what I saw in your early chart here. What did I see here? Oh, yeah. So I had Asmodeus child there and Hebe. So something to do with, yeah, there's that whole. Remember, we talked about how there's a beauty thing, but in youthfulness, and rejuvenation.
Mm.
Something might have happened in the past, like in your past life, maybe something that affected your line, your DNA today. Maybe they made certain things that were like they made certain like risky choices, or rather choices that they had to make like last minute, and they didn't know what to decide. They didn't know, so they had to make these like their choices had unforeseen consequences.
Mm.
So, and but it had a lot to do with like something to do with contract, something to do with uh, whether or not they knew it. And there was a certain because Orcus is not just integrity; it's long-term truth. Um, it also represents mm, near-death experiences,
Me?
death
No,
awakening. No, but maybe in your family line. Um,
not.
okay,
Not that I know of.
okay, yeah, but something to do with that. So, and maybe there was a sort of like it kind of passed on to you, where it's like
Mm.
it's almost like part of you were disconnected from genuine health, right? So you again, this ties into the Leo thing. You're not really connected to your true self or your true connection with yourself, and it was very like maybe there was a lot of toxicity in the. Well, we already know that, but that's in your that's right here in your descendant, right here. But with the full with Orcus there, I feel like it's very strong, where it's like something to do with it's not control. It's almost like it was almost like this. I don't know, self-fulfilling prophecies was included there. So that means that they probably did certain things that were kind of like, I'm just gonna do it. Who cares? And that in itself, out of like, because you also have Asmodeus here, right? Asmodeus is Um, he's about anger and punishment and lust. He likes to play around. Asmodeus in the mythology, he was the god that played around. He was a trickster god, and
Mm.
he was the one who um, he's very mischievous. So it's a lot of probably mischief and playfulness, maybe too much in the past. And so what happens is that um, that became part of your what you have today, where you're disconnected from reality.
Mm.
Right. So there was a lot of just not a lot of introspection happening there. There
Yeah,
was
I
a lot
wouldn't
of
expect. I wouldn't expect so.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There could have been also like because the fourth house also rules real estate, so maybe they had some. It had something to do with like they did they own maybe they owned farms like sheep where there was sheep, there was certain specific animals, or they maybe they
My
bred.
my grandfather from my dad's side had
Hmm,
farms, I think.
okay, okay,
Um, yeah, I don't know
or
exactly
there
what,
okay,
but yeah,
or there could have been gambling.
I guess it wouldn't surprise me. I don't know.
Okay, okay,
Um, but he wasn't a very nice man.
okay. Hmm. It could also been oh here um different types of deformities, limping, handicapped, disabled, people who were uh, maybe there was a kind of again something to do with the DNA or something with the family. Um, maybe basically a lot of d- disorder because it was based on a lot of it was like lust and desire and just like here I'm just gonna satisfy right now. I don't give a fuck about the results.
Oh, I just thought of something that kind of brings everything together. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, but my grandfather kind of leaving my dad's mother to kind of die
Mm.
to marry another woman.
Yeah.
So that brings in the contract, breaking it, and all the
Yeah.
lust and
hmm
oof, yeah.
Yeah. There you go. So yeah. Hmm. Possible strangulations. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's part of that. A lot of like uh, they knew what would probably happen, and yet they made certain decisions that did not go along with those signs, the warnings they
Mm,
got.
yeah.
Especially with being, yeah, especially with being in the moment, being childlike and trusting. Child is the asteroid of like trusting. It's like downloads, but it's child. It's a child. It's actually I have a let me see here. Ah, why don't I see the side bar? Where's the sidebar? Where's my sidebar? Oh, that's because I'm opening it through the Word file. Dum dum dum. Okay, give me 1 second here, okay?
Yeah.
Um, thank you. I'm not opening the PDF file. I'm just like, this is taking forever. But it's okay. It's part of the learning process of what we're transitioning into. Okay, here we go. So child. Do you use Mac or PC?
I see.
PC, okay. Sometimes PC they both have like their own upset like positives and negatives, right? So
Mm.
I'm using Mac. Like I use Mac. So okay, here we go. Child, come on. Me child. I don't like skipping certain details that I think are important. Uh, yeah, oh, here we go. Okay, so child is unconditional love. It's awareness, of course. It's also leading by example. So I think in that case, yeah, I thought I was missing something else there. And let's look at the mundane stuff. Mundane, when I say mundane, I mean not just mundane everyday stuff, but mundane astrology.
Mm.
So this ties in with what we're talking about in your fourth house with your family. Um, so maybe was there abandon? Maybe there is abandonment or um, tricking or abuse of children, like kind of like
Yeah.
ignored. Yeah,
Yep.
playing like there was like this game that they had to play. Um,
Mm.
yeah. So
Both
yeah.
both my parents, I would say.
Okay. Well, okay. Uh, so I see that here with Pholus and Orcus there and child Asmodeus Hebe as well. So maybe they're more concerned about back then about beauty rather than like looking good. That is not necessarily beauty, but looking good, face value in front of other people. Saving face. That's we have that saying, right? So, um, and that in turn, why you wanted something different. We already talked about that, right? So, okay, so that ties into the reason why I mentioned in the fourth house is because I missed that, and I think that's important because of Chiron there. So again, we go back to the intercepted house. Your fifth house is intercepted, so that means that it wasn't something that was. It kind of felt blocked for you. The giving of love, being yourself, having fun, even
Oh, that.
romantic relationships.
Mm.
Even even you probably still have issues with children. Like you probably feel kind of disconnected from children.
Yes.
Hmm. Okay. And yeah, that shows in here. But that's where you get your wisdom. You transform through that. It's Haumea Jupiter is square your Pallas Athena. Pallas Athena, Athena, right? She's wisdom. She
Hmm.
knows connectedness. So you transform through this. It's part of your transformational process. Is where you grow and you gain wisdom through your experiences. By it's almost like children are meant to give you that shadow. If they trigger you somehow, it means there's something there. That's the shadow. If you get triggered by someone and you're like, it's a reaction, it's subconscious and brought to the surface.
Mm.
Yeah, because you technically could expand and you can learn to get in touch with your inner nature, but if you learn to can you learn how to parent yourself? Because you have this trine here. So that means you naturally know how to parent yourself. You know how to take care of yourself because you have had that sort of loss of self. So you have Ceres here. That's Demeter right here, your ninth house. It's conjunct your natal, your birth chart midheaven, which is the career thing, vocation, reputation. It's conjunct that, so that means it's more with reputation, but it is about your philosophy as well. Your philosophy, your belief that you should learn how to take care of yourself because of all the losses you've gone through, and learning how to balance that as well, right?
Mm.
Um, a lot to do with like on a side note, series has a lot to do with grains and growing things. It's not just self-love, but it's also fertilization, growing things, fructification, agriculture. Okay. Planting, nurturing, harvesting grains. Okay. Okay. And also working with your epigenetics. That ties in with what's happened in your life. Right? You have here series, sextile, your core. So when you learn to trust more in the rhythm of life, when you work through this energy, you can actually learn how to not only take care of yourself even more, but learn to really embody and accept it. It's part of your philosophy.
Yeah.
And it becomes
Mm.
part of your career as well. So that means that your career maybe has something, again, it ties in with what we're talking about earlier, something about nature, like really natural things. Um, so that in itself, but you know how to naturally do that So in order to regenerate, in order to heal from that loss, and because you feel blocked in this house, right? If you in this part of your life, this house, you feel blocked and you feel like you can't be expressive of yourself. You can't be your childlike self. Children trigger you, maybe, um, and you don't know how to expand to that. Being in trust with your inner Gaia,
Mm.
your inner Mother Nature, and but you also ah yeah, and it's natural for you to embody that because you want it's part of what you want. It's moon in Taurus naturally, right? So you have this like right here, this grand trine right here. It's very earth. It's tied to earth, definitely tied to earth. Um, but you already have a lot of that. When I started reading your chart earlier, I focused on the red aspects. Those are the challenging ones. Those are where you
Mm.
grow from. Okay. Um, so yeah, so
And the
let's see.
blue ones?
The blue ones are comfortable, easy. Yeah.
Mm.
Most people like that. They're like, oh yeah, okay, cool. I like to work with the red ones because it means that
It's
it's
also
what's
good
going to
to know
help
your
me.
strengths, right? Strengths and weaknesses.
Absolutely. There you go. So that is your strength. So your strength is you know how to regenerate through um, knowing yourself even more, like actually working on it, and also nurturing yourself. That's the key point there. Nurturing yourself. It's really about nurture. All these things right here, you have here moon, Ceres. Ceres is a higher vibration of the moon, and actually Sedna is a higher vibration of Ceres. But Haumea can behave like that too. Haumea is the higher vibration of Venus. Sorry, of Neptune, right here. When I say higher vibration, what I mean by that is it has a more elevated energy to it. It's not just
Mm.
basic nurture, you know. Um, because Ceres is like your basic nurture stuff, but it learns how to work with basic needs, not just like satisfaction. Moon is like the food, like I want to enjoy this, that. Ceres is elevated, so that means it's like, are you satisfied with just the bowl of rice? The what do you call that? The what do you call that in the Greek they use for what do you call that? The one with the dessert. What is that called?
Flat dessert.
No, the what? Uh, Spanakopita. Spanakopita?
Uh, that's, I wouldn't
Not
call it a
dessert. No,
dessert.
no, it's not a dessert. I mean, like, I'm sorry. I'm thinking about the dessert,
Like
but
like a
the dough.
pie.
Yeah,
Ah, yeah.
yeah. No, but I'm thinking about the dough, the very thin dough.
Mm.
Filo.
Filo.
Yeah,
Yes. Mm.
filo. So, are you satisfied with just eating that? That comes from flour, which is grain. That's what Ceres is. Ceres is like just satisfaction with basic needs.
Contentment with
Absolutely.
sim- sim-
Absolutely.
simplicity.
Exactly.
Mm.
Yeah. So, and working with that, so natural things as well. So it doesn't have to be like preservatives, added sugar, salt. No, no. Ceres is higher elevation. So
Mm.
that's one of your strengths. But yeah, but with it conjunct your 10th house, first house, and your fifth house, it's almost like you internally find that inner joy as well. So you don't necessarily need to work with children or to be in romantic relationships or affairs or even just enjoy things externally, but internally, where your strength
Yeah,
lies in. Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
say I find it easier than other people.
There you go. Yeah. So you know how to be the introvert,
Mhm.
basically.
Yes.
So there we see Eris here again, right? So Eris rules Libra, which is actually opposite your sun. Oh, okay. I have that. Oh no, I don't have that placement. You have it opposite your sun. So how does this work? Your Eris opposite your sun means that your sense of identity is when you are in times of reflection when you're meditating, yoga, any sort of like you're in your sort of zone, in your zone, like you're just here. Maybe you're maybe you have like a psychedelic. I don't know. Um, it's or when you're by yourself or in prison. That's also 12th house. I'm not saying you're in prison, but it's almost like you because it's in retrograde. It's almost like you have to process your sense of exclusion because retrograde in Eris means that you work through your inner inclusion, right? How do you belong? Well, you're not going to really find it in humans. You're going to find it inside, and you realize, oh, I am connected, right? So that's what it is. That's simply what it is. Um,
Mm.
but also finding that you can be a leader in that regard. You can be a leader. You can. It's an Aries. You can be that kind of an example, a role model. But because it's in the 12th house, it's kind of kept hidden. It's when you're at home as well. It's when you're in the little place, your little place of seclusion or isolation. It's when you get to meditate and you get to balance your identity, yourself and identity, or your sense of identity, and also work with what's healthy for you because it's the 6th house and the 12th house. It's opposite. That means that I think you heal more your identity through when you're meditating, when you're in isolation, even when you're hiking up the mountains and you're just enjoying the wonder of nature. You're just like, wow, I'm alive. And it's
Mm.
part of the healing process as well, right? Um, sometimes it does get challenged by right here we have a square. It gets challenged by um, the sudden changes probably that you experience, especially like maybe when you travel, or at least now when you're in a foreign country, there's certain sort of things that unexpected changes that are kind of imposed by society, maybe the public,
I
or
feel
like
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 that happens when I go back.
okay.
Yes,
Okay, so in this case,
that's why I left. Yeah.
okay, that's why. There you go. There you go. That's why. So it's makes sense. Okay. So I guess maybe you're able to now work through a bit of the anger more now. You're able to open it up and or at least transmute it in a healthy way.
Mm. I'm able to do many more things now than here
Okay. Okay.
than I would have been if I had stayed. I think. Yeah.
Okay. I want to go to Greece.
Yeah, it's amazing for a vacation. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know about
Not to
living
live
there.
in. Okay. But they have there is that thing where it's like it doesn't really matter where we go. It's a matter of perception. So where we go, if we still perceive what we had before and we move so to escape that,
Mm.
and it's a subconscious thing, right? If we escape what we're from, or not necessarily from, but like where we are, if we escape that, thinking and believing that moving will change everything, it's not going to. It's the perception that needs to change, and then we can move. I think
It,
for you, it
it
happens
did it did
simultaneously.
change some things that allowed for
Ah,
um
that's-
some good changes that will allow for me to go back at some point and heal the rest maybe.
okay.
Um yeah,
Okay.
and
I
in my
want to. I
case
want
it
to.
helped a lot. Running away helped for once.
Sometimes it does. Oh wait. Okay. No. Now I get it. Okay. That's where the Neptune comes in. Thank you for clarifying that with me as well. Neptune is the escapism. So you had to move. It's almost like you had this unexpected change that in order to escape where you're from, it helped you strengthen your identity and your sense of self as well.
Mm.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, got it.
I moved here alone, so I had to kind of discover myself.
Okay. Yes, because back then you had this sort of uncertainty about your own identity, of course, naturally. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, naturally, based on what we were talking about. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
that's what I mean. Okay, cool. Um, I haven't gone through Sedna yet, but we also have Vesta here. Oh, you have Vesta conjunct. You have Vesta conjunct your Mercury. Oh, okay. So you're very when you communicate, you have this sort of call this. There's an inner fire to your voice. There's a certain like strength about it. As long as you focus on it, as long as you are devoted to communicating your truth, it
Mm.
comes out in a very like it's pure. There's a purity about it. There's a certain like I don't know how to describe it. I want to go into Vesta here because it's
I
in your
do feel
sixth house.
like
I told
I, I
sorry.
I find it difficult to express my truth. So what you're saying, I guess, yeah, I have been told that, but it doesn't happen very often.
Yes, because you have it opposite of Sedna. Actually, you have several things. You have a lot of square. You have a lot of grand squares here. Um, your Vesta Mercury is square Saturn. That explains that inability to, or at least uncertainty about communication or expressing a pure form of your self-expression, even your sexuality, even your um what do you call this? You're certain you're I don't know how to describe the energy of the Vesta. Vesta is like um maybe there's a part of you that had to sacrifice that truth in order to compensate for what the world believes about you.
Yeah.
hmm Um, but I'm looking into Vesta here because there's sorry 1 second because it's in the sixth house. I forgot to mention that. I totally forgot. Do you have heart issues?
Not that I
Issues with the
know
heart?
of. I
Okay.
mean, no issues. I feel some
Okay.
what's called palpitations
Yes,
sometimes,
heart. Yeah, heart murmurs.
but
Yeah, yeah.
it's not that often.
Okay. But I believe it's something to do with the heart or inside that area, the rib cage area, parts of the heart, the it says here the subcutaneous layer of the skin, which is like the one that is it's the fatty layer under the skin. It's the dermis, epidermis, and subcutis, which
Mm.
is like that the regenerative, like ongoing sort of like healing energy inside the skin. I don't know. Yeah. Heart rate as well. So heartbeats. So if you have those palpitations, I have heart murmur. When I was a
Mm.
baby, I was born with that. Um, and I have Vesta in my first house. So that's like when I was born. That
Mm.
explains it. It's like, okay. So, okay. But
Skin. I guess
that and it's, sorry.
my skin has become a bit um, drier.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Or at the very
more.
least, like, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Um, no. I was gonna say not a bit drier.
Like, is it around your arms? Is it here usually?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's here and then legs.
The
Um,
legs as well. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
to the
But this is yeah,
bottom part of the legs. What's called the
legs. So that
sheens.
the shins.
Yeah.
Okay. Like below the knee, like right here,
Yes, below the knee.
line. Those are shins. Yeah. Oh, okay. Where's the shins? Okay, I don't know what that is. I'll have to look that up again next time. There's so much. But Sedna here, opposite of Sedna, means that you often reflect on or meditate on letting go of what you can't control. But you didn't, it's almost like there's a part of you that still doesn't know how to let that go. Sedna
Yeah,
is absolute release. Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. So retrograde Sedna means that it's an internalized thing. It keeps repeating itself. But
Yeah.
eventually, when you release the Sedna is a part of you that will understand um like I guess you can say your evolutionary self, like awareness, right? That it's okay to
Mm.
have those things. It's okay to, and then out of that thing will come. Sedna is the first planet to be named after an Inuit mythology. So
Nice.
Sedna brings back truth from the past, but also combines it with the present. She also combines mythology and the beliefs with science. She's about that today. So that's what she's about. But in retrograde, it's like
Very current.
sorry,
Very current. Uh,
yeah,
Truth from the past coming into science now.
yeah. Sedna right now. Sedna is in Gemini, and so information is coming through again. And it's like,
Mm,
oh, we're talking about the past. Oh, yeah. It influences anything we're learning about. It also means like something about language as well, but more like communication, right? Yeah. Before this year, Sedna was in Taurus. So that means that Sedna was bringing back information about farming methods,
mm,
what real beauty is, pleasure, those kind of things. So Sedna has been coming. Sedna is actually approaching the Earth right now. She's
mm.
orbiting the sun and she's coming to the. So these things are coming back.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. More natural. So now let's go into. I'm gonna be more general with the progression here.
Hmm.
So earlier we're talking about you being Libra, right? Okay. So now you're in the last few degrees. It's called critical degrees in Scorpio. So that means you're more Scorpio right now. You have
Okay.
a more of a Scorpio energy. You're more. It's about trust. It's about issues about. Um, I think that's also why you're curious about this thing now. Because earlier back then you weren't really curious about it when you were younger. You're like, what?
No,
Astrology? Well, yeah.
no.
But
I was like,
but now you
astrology, that's bullshit. But yeah, now I'm more curious about everything that I
yeah.
wasn't accepting before.
And your things that are also esoteric.
Hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Um and so in about approximately 2 years, you'll jump into Sagittarius. And now then you'll be more willing to take risks.
Mm.
Okay. So we're looking into a bit of what's called predictive astrology. It's fun for me because it's like, oh, okay, I can sort of get a sense what happened. You communicate more openly now. You are definitely more. Your Mercury is in Sagittarius now, so you're not as closed about your communication. It's a little bit more open, more flexible, adaptive.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Mm, what else is there?
I did start creating content this year.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Is this something to do with like I would say your experiences?
Also about that, but mostly for the work I want to be doing.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, cool. Good.
But
Um
both, yeah.
yeah. You're definitely going through what I have naturally in my birth chart, your Sun Pluto conjunction. This is a big one. Um ego death.
Oh,
Ego death. That's what it is. Simply put, ego death. You're going to continuously experience that until, well, maybe 2 years. Maybe 4 years, 2 or 4 years. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
experiencing ego death for 2 to 4 years.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
And it's, yeah,
I'll
I'm
brace
sorry.
myself.
I'm not sorry, not sorry, but yeah, sorry.
Now, I mean,
It's part of the process.
it's a good it's a good thing. It's not easy, but it's yeah, part of the process.
Mhm. So that's a good thing. Yeah. And your relationships will start to heal more because you have Pluto here conjunct your it's it's now here. It's yeah. So it's yeah, relationships will heal. It's really about more about relationships in general.
Mm,
Any sort of things that you also get into, of course. Might be marriage. It doesn't have to be marriage. It could be contracts, anything you agree to. Any shadow work is also a big thing as well. I would say you're going to be, maybe you might get signs from guides that be like, maybe you need to work on your shadow. Maybe you need to heal more of your past. Because I feel like that's part of your North Node, anyways.
Signs? What What kind of signs could it be?
Could be any. It could be to anything. It could be through someone, through things,
Mm.
nature. Yeah, when you're open to it as well. But your Mercury is in Sagittarius now, so you're also going to be a lot more intuitive. The intuition will come through easily. You'll come through like, oh my goodness. And as that grows, I don't know for how long though, because Mercury is, yeah, I just don't know for how long because it's hard to measure right now. I'm there's still an astronomical side to astrology, which is like the technicalities. So I'm still kind of like slowly doing that little bit by bit. Like, okay.
Is
But yeah,
part of that is part of that also idea generation?
what do you mean?
Uh, you said you said that I'm more intuitive because of
Yeah,
Mercury. You said yes.
yeah, Mercury, your
Um,
perception. Yeah.
is that is idea generation part of that? Because I feel like I'm overflowing with ideas these days.
Yes, yeah, that could be it as well.
Mm.
I want to see where Vesta is. I'm seeing Vesta here, but I forgot which progression she's in right now. Vesta 2 degrees. Ah, yes. Okay, yeah. So as long as you, because your Mercury, your so Mercury 7 degrees to, yeah, it's sort of there, but it has a lot to do more with like your everything that's seventh house. I'm gonna see what else it says about seventh house here. Uh, okay. Partnerships, and you also sort of partnerships as well. Dealings with the public. Open enemies. I keep forgetting that part. Open enemies, things that you're becoming more aware of. You're starting to see like, you this is when you start to understand like, I know when to draw the boundaries. I know when to put, you know. Um
Mm.
Also where you're working on what you lack in yourself. You start to work more on that. Sorry. Your attitudes towards marriage as well. It's going to be different, maybe risk taking. Grandparents as well. I don't know why grandparents is there. Something to do with grandparents. People as agents. Hold on, it's grandparents. Why is it
I don't
grandparents?
think I have any left.
Okay, that's
No, I
okay.
don't. I
Okay,
yeah.
that's okay. Um, yeah, public enemies, projection. Um, also foreign affairs. Any foreign affairs that you have? That's not really. That's more mundane stuff, but it's kind of
Foreign
similar.
foreign affairs.
Yeah, sort of. Not
What
necessarily
the?
foreigners, but it's under mundane astrology, which is more political.
Mm.
But it's okay. Don't worry. I just mentioned that because just in case.
I'm not sure what the what that means.
Yeah, like foreign affairs is the name we have for like foreign affairs, like international relationships.
Relationships between countries, but
Yeah,
what
yeah.
does that mean for people?
Well, I don't know. It's kind of like that's sort of like the expanded version of that. This is more personal, so it's
Mm.
similar relationships. Yeah.
All right.
But yeah,
Mm.
public enemies are people that you might notice who are you need to kind of watch out for. Hmm.
Mm.
I'm wondering if okay, let's keep going with this one. So you have that. You're more yeah, we already saw the sun there. Your moon is where's your moon now? Here we go. So okay, you're more Cancer. Your Mars is still in Cancer. So your moon is in Cancer. This is right at home in Cancer. So that means that actually it's in the last degrees of Cancer. So that means you feel like you're experiencing more intense emotions.
Yep.
Yeah. And the more intense you feel them, the more you kind of like you do the crab thing, right? Cancer is the crab. So you do this, you go, right?
Yes.
Um, it is opposite of I believe it's opposite your, hold on, 20, was it 26, 27 degrees? 26, 27. Okay. Ah, okay. It's opposite your series, your natal series. Natal means what's in your birth chart. Your natal series. So that means you have to learn how to balance that as well with your nurturing yourself even more. Learn how to balance that and nurturing those emotions and not just giving into, not being a slave to that emotions
Mm.
and the anger. All emotions actually. Because you have moon and Mars here. But you also this means that you have also more initiative. You have more initiative now, especially when it comes to safety, security, and how you communicate that to people. And you're learning through that. Or at the very least, I'm not sure about the house parts here, so I'm still learning that myself, like how to read certain charts. So don't worry about that. It's okay. But definitely like opposite of series, so that means learning to take care of yourself a little bit more. Your midheaven is in the 11th house, so that means your career is now directed through the guidance and help of the love you give through communities. That's why you're an FTP,
Hmm.
or at least other groups, some sort of social group or any sort of community you're in, groups. Yeah, friends that you make. It's part of your journey now. You get more support from circles of friends and communities and even acquaintances to a lesser degree, because your midheaven is there. So your reputation is in Pisces. So now it feels like you would probably feel more like they see you more as this more spiritual person. You're more flexible, but they might also see you as not just before it was cold and distant, right? But now it's more like you might feel that the world perceives you as like you're just not there. You can be there, you're there. You can be there, you're there. You're there, there. You vacillate. You go like this. Possibly like they might see you as indecisive. Sorry. Um,
Fair.
which yeah, which sorry to say, but which is opposite of your nadir, which is now in Virgo right here. What is that? 4 degrees. Okay, 4 degrees here. I believe no, it's not conjunct Makemake. So it's in Virgo. So that means your core beliefs have changed. Your core beliefs, or at least they feel like they've changed. You become more open to breaking apart your experiences, your
Mm.
history as well, your beliefs, and seeing what does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? Okay, you're being more technical about it as well. Yeah.
Mm.
What else? When your inner core beliefs, or rather when your nadir changes over to close to make, which will be close to this one, you'll start to get all these like different multiple ideas of like core beliefs. Your core beliefs will change and become more like, ah, you might even consider like something to do with writing. I don't know. Have you heard of automatic writing? Have you heard of this?
Yes, yeah, I've done it a couple of times.
Okay, okay. There might be a pull somehow. It might be
Mm.
something you might use somehow, and you might start to have fun with it. Maybe I don't know.
Mm.
We'll see. Um, what else? Your Saturn no longer feels retrograde, so you know how to ground yourself and create limits and boundaries. Yeah.
At least
So
more than
yeah,
before.
for sure. And definitely more in touch with your self-nurturing side. It's part of your career now as well. It's part of like how you feel. Yeah, I don't know if you get into things like agricultural things. Like for me, I want to get started into permaculture. Have you
Mm.
heard of permaculture?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome. Awesome
I've
stuff.
I've had some ideas about creating uh like an agriculture community, like a mini village,
Yeah,
but
sure. Yeah.
not now. Um,
Oh yeah.
it
Yeah.
it feels a bit early for that, I guess.
You think so? Okay, cool. So Your north node is still there, same place. What else is there? Oh, I forgot your ascendant. Your ascendant is now coming through in Gemini. It's no longer in Taurus, or at least it feels like you're definitely more communicative. You're more open. It's almost like you're getting in touch with your how you present yourself to the world. It's almost like you're getting in touch with your past life stuff. So that's why I think this was the right timing, right?
Mm.
So yeah. Um I'm gonna do one last chart here. I want to see like the big events, unless you don't have questions about the big events in your life, like what's happening now, because I can do that chart. It's up to you. I
I mean,
sense that you're
if you have time, let's do it.
oh oh yeah, yeah,
It's already been three hours. Wow.
yeah, yeah. That's why I'm wondering. So
Yeah, I'm
I did put
afraid.
in the post. I said between 30, depending on what you're looking for. 30, maybe 33 hours. I don't know.
I'm
You want to
up
keep
for it if
going?
you are.
One more chart. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm still gonna go with. I'm gonna go shorter on this one. Now we didn't put the other. I didn't include the other asteroids because I didn't know what to include. You know,
Mm.
this is your first time, and it's a huge. You know, this is part of my thing. I remember I told you I have Sun Pluto conjunction. This is the energy. It's intense. It's like everything in your face, and I think you're okay with that. I think you're learning that anyways.
Mm.
Okay. So with this one, this is more external. These are more like possible potential events. These are called like your solar arcs. Um,
All right.
and
I'm
so
ready.
let's see here. Okay, we'll see. We'll see what we find. Um, so your Jupiter Haumea is in your sixth house. So that means lo- that- lots of vitality, lots of health. Like that is you feel very healthy. You feel a lot of health things that are expanding. You feel very lucky.
Mm. Are we talking about
Lot
the
of
predictive now or past? What is this
oh,
about?
this is all like the big events, meaning like this is like the things that are coming through in your life that are like
Okay,
a
so
little
in
bit
the future.
yeah. No, right now.
No, not okay. Mm.
Right. Do you want to do because this is today. Do you want to go
Today.
ahead into the future? We can do that. We can jump into the future a little bit.
Sure. So that chart was for today that
Yeah,
you're
that's just
showing
yeah,
me
it's
now.
dated
Mm.
today, like 15. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I could just go through that quickly and then we'll go into a different date. Like we'll change it to like 34 later.
Oh, 10 years. Exciting.
Yeah. Okay. Um, I'm wondering if maybe I just need to do solar arc direction instead. I'll explain that maybe next time. Okay.
Hmm.
So here, so this one oh, it hasn't changed much if I do this one. So I need to do yeah. Sometimes I'm trying to figure out what kind of chart type to use because sometimes I'm like, what am I doing? But because this is external events, we have to use we compare your natal chart with your sense of like yourself, your journey, with the things that are coming into your life. Not necessarily like happening. These are not transits. Transits are planets that are happening right now. A solar arc is the big events that happen based on your decisions.
Mm.
Yeah. So the choices
Okay.
you make about it, your awareness of it, it's all based on the sun. That's why solar. So solar arc. So um so here the Jupiter Hame has moved in. This also means that you're getting big business ideas,
Uh,
opportunities about money making, not necessarily money itself, but like, expansion so that you become this sort of conduit for um the growth of other people and your health as well, because this pertains to your sixth house. Um, so that's why I said earlier. So that's why you're
yes.
getting into this stuff like with health, your healing, but also like natural things, little things. This is the sixth house. This is ruled by Virgo, so maybe little things as well. You're working through, and you have been doing this for a while. It's in Scorpio now, or rather, so what that means is definitely maybe a lot of what you're going through with you're growing your business has a lot to do with the trauma. But also it could be anything from things that are taboo, things that are risk taking, of course, um, issues, things about death, things about transformations, things about sex, things about sexuality, things about what else is there? It could also be related to sort of the earth, but like mushrooms, the mycelial network, things with that. I don't know if you seen that on Netflix. There's this show called a movie, actually, a documentary called Fantastic Fungi. Have you seen that?
I'm not sure if I've watched that one or another one, but I have
Okay.
I have watched a couple of
Okay,
documentaries
cool.
about mycelium.
Okay, there you go. So it's yeah. So there you go. That explains that. That's Scorpio. But it also means that what else does it include? Any sort of like deep, in-depth sort of research opportunities about that kind of stuff, right? Investigations.
Mm.
Okay. Okay. So that's coming through. So anything to do also not just with health, but like your own fertility, your own regeneration, mm, eggs,
Eggs.
something to do with eggs. Okay. Plants, eggs, anything very natural, but also eggs, like the life itself.
Mm.
Maybe you're curious. Maybe you start to get curious about like the source of life.
Yes.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
an even deeper level, I guess.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. That's right. So energies as well. So again, it's
Mm.
it's really out there, right? Here, of course, like we've talked about, this is not just your personality here with the relationship, but this is like uh maybe father figures coming in that you relate with, authority figures, could be bosses, governors, any sort of leader coming into your life, maybe either challenging you or awakening you. They are helping you process your power. Either you're working with them or they're teaching you one way or another. So some sort of authority figure, some sort of like high up there, maybe the government, something to do with the government,
Mm.
contracts with the governments. Yeah. I don't know if you get into that recently or some sort of, or at least like what to watch out for. Like who, which, what are this government stuff? Like, are they, it could also be children as well. It could also be that your new children have come into your life. You've met new people that are younger than you, possibly, or really young, or uh, what else? The sun, because the sun is in the seventh house. It's about, yeah. What else is there? One second here. Okay. Well, let's see here. Oh, well, of course, men in general. That's a part of it too. Um, Games, probably. Maybe things that are regarding games, articles of value, things that
Mm.
like jewelry, for example, articles of value, things that are, um, I don't know. Maybe that's why I mentioned gemstones earlier. I don't know if you've ever been curious about gemstones. Those are articles of value, but gemstones as in like through healing. Like I have stuff here, like I have carnelian right here. It's a
I
gemstone.
have but these three.
Oh, cool. Show me what you have.
Four. Four. I have this pyramid over
What is it?
here. Uh,
Moonstone? Is that moonstone?
quartz, I think.
What kind of
White.
quartz?
Uh, what is white?
Okay,
I'm
okay,
not
that's
very
fine.
familiar.
Okay,
Um,
that's fine.
Amethyst.
Ah, yes, yes,
This is
great.
for meditation.
Ah, yes, yes,
Also,
yes. And headaches. Yes.
I mean the shape. It's for just.
Palm stones. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't remember what this is. It's green, greenish.
It looks like it's either hmm, Prasiolite. No, that can't be. It could be
Mm,
any of the green ones. Yeah.
yeah, I
Okay.
don't remember. I think this is again quartz.
Clear quartz, right?
Yeah.
I think it's clear quartz. Yeah, cool. Okay, cool.
I also
Yeah.
got some necklaces.
Okay, cool. I've been recently like getting a lot because I want them to heal. I'm not getting them. Well, I like them, but it's more like with I want to get in touch with the things that will help me heal
Mm,
and work through my inner child stuff. That's one of the things I've been going through. Um, and it actually helps. Like sometimes when I go to bed, I wear a bloodstone.
mm,
It's like it heals with muscles and yes, headaches as well. Amethyst is good for that too. Headaches. So,
mm.
do you cleanse your stones like with water, moonlight, sunlight?
So this is supposed to clean stones.
So because it's a quartz. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, clear quartz. If it's clear quartz, I don't see it as clear quartz, but if it's clear quartz, apparently cleanses stones too. So
Uh,
citrine does that too. So
mm. Yeah, the interest in these came last year. Last year or the year before. I don't remember.
okay,
Um, yeah.
okay, cool. So there must have been that. Um, New information about love. I don't know, or marriage, or something like with relationships. It's coming through this whole thing about purity, but I'm wondering what that is in terms of like what's coming in. I forgot. Hold on one second here. Oops. Uh, let's see here. I'm just gonna say them like something with fire, like real recognition of like the sparks, maybe the fire, the connection of like maybe in relationship, maybe there's like, are you question, are you, sorry, it's a little personal, but are you in a relationship right now?
Yes.
So maybe you're,
For
are
the
you,
last 10, 11 years.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. So maybe there's information you're getting more about that, like in terms of like how to make it, either you making it work or it's changing. The relationship is changing. You are experiencing some sort of like purification, not necessarily, but like, it's sort of like you're starting to understand how what is the sacredness in that relationship,
Mm,
something like that. Something to do with like, yeah, like, standing your ground. That's one of the things. Standing, that's a big one. Uh,
yeah.
mhm. Like your sexual connection with that, not necessarily sex, but like the sexual energy. Kundalini, that's the one. I keep forgetting about that. Kundalini. Did you? Oh, you never.
What?
You know Kundalini? Life force.
I
It's life
haven't
force.
felt a Kundalini awakening, if that's what you're asking.
Oh no, no, no. I don't think it's in the seventh house, but there's a potential for it. But I mean,
Mm,
um, hmm. But definitely maybe foreigners. Definitely foreigners too, because it's in Sagittarius. So maybe foreigners. I mean, you're already in a foreign country, or like you move to a foreign country, so naturally. But I mean, like not just that, but foreigners there. So non. You're in Panama, right? You say Panama?
Denmark.
Oh, oh, you're in Denmark. Okay, sorry. Wait, I want to talk about that after. Okay.
All right.
Um. Okay, and definitely like a lot of the transformational stuff, like relationship coming into so this is the path you're going into right now. You are experiencing changes and fluctuations in relationships, or at least um, real relationships are coming into your life now. I don't know. I don't know if that, or at least that's what you're being called to. And if you sense it, if you connect with it, then that's when you'll know.
Mm,
Otherwise, it's not going to be genuine. It's going to be toxic. But you have the
mm.
4 planets here, so that means that real relationships that give you a sense of bliss, real relationships that give you a sense of like you. Um, I don't know if drumming has been part of your thing now. Like it's been like at least like some sort of meditative sort of like structure, like maybe ceremonies as well. I don't know if you're going through certain ceremonies that help you kind of be more in touch with your connection.
I started meditating.
Oh, okay. When did you start meditating? Was that
It's been what, almost 50 days in a row now. Yay!
okay? Yay. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Ah, here we go. Sudden, weird, unexpected, but also like out there sort of changes in your career. So weird jobs coming through or careers
Weird
like your
jobs. Yeah, I
like
guess we could say that.
yeah. Yeah. Uh,
I'm
well,
working on many projects right now.
mhm. Did I miscalculate that? Hold on. I think I miscalculated something. I'm so sorry. I
Hmm?
thought your fifth house was intercepted. Yeah, it was. Okay. No, I was right. I'm not. I didn't make a mistake. So that's good. That's fine. Again, your things about nature and your career are coming in through. So communities are something that you're open to now. And
Mm,
again, be more like you have more discipline now for sure. Like specifically with the communities they're in. So it's your 11th house stuff. It's maybe mother figures and father figures are coming in to help you. It could be doesn't necessarily mean literal people. It could be something else.
mm,
Someone who's serious, someone who's helps you protect you and help you be more like standing your ground and be more like protect yourself a little bit more. Yeah.
mm.
Um but also disillusion because you have Saturn in Pisces. It's a apparently there's this astrologer. Her name is Pam Gregory. She said that um, Saturn in Pisces is also about the dissolution of systems. That's a mundane astrology thing, but on a personal level, at least what's coming to you now is uh, authority figures that are not so authoritative. It's almost like or they're kind of disappearing. It's sort of the opposite. They're not coming in; they're going away. So old structures are definitely falling away for you. Um, I don't know if it's money you earn is changing. Money you earn is coming from a different source.
Ah, hopefully.
Well, it's slowly dissolving, slowly going
Mm,
away. It is slow because of Saturn, and Pisces is kind of like wearing that away. Right? It's like water. Pisces is water. What else do we have here? Eris. Ah, yay! Eris is not in retrograde, so you are now more in touch with, especially when you meditate. You're more in touch with knowing how you belong, like where you belong. Um, but definitely like maybe like physical altercations, not necessarily physical, maybe changes that you needed to go through or chaos that needed to happen in your life to get rid of like things that are of no value to you.
mm.
They're kind of, you're being tested. Eris is also about you're being tested. Yeah, so that means that you are releasing all the old baggage and all that stuff. Um, it's kind of expected, and a lot of people are going through that. Yes, but on a personal level for you, it's something to do with not like conflict and like it almost feels like there's a battle happening. And
An
let's see if that's
unseen
opposite.
battle.
Yeah, that's right. Let's see if it's
Mm.
opposite. Okay, so it's 20. What is that? Sorry. Getting lost here. 19 degrees. 19 degrees. Okay, so opposite of your natal Pluto. Okay. Well, yeah, it's the same thing as we've been talking about, similar, where you probably have to balance the toxicity in your body and healing through that. I don't know if you've come across some sort of fungus, bacteria, virus, or some sort of past illness like or disease or disease, or probably issues with
Mm.
like bowels, secretion, anything coming out of your body.
Uh, Not too bad.
Okay.
Nothing too bad.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, I guess.
Okay. Okay. None of
Um,
them. That's okay.
mm, not, could be better.
Okay. Well, it's really about reintegrating your what do you call this? What needs to be dissolved and what you can keep, right?
Mm,
It's
yeah,
it's all it's all like maybe in your dreams as well. You're probably getting this through your dreams. I don't know if you are being challenged in your dreams when you're dreaming. There's probably like a lot of conflicts. Maybe it's chaotic in your dreams.
it is very chaotic. Some are stressful, some are fun, but
Hmm.
they're all chaotic.
Okay. You've also definitely learned to now accept your physical self a lot more. You're allowing for the information you get from whatever adventure you take, whatever sort of plans you do, especially if it's new. And yeah, anything that you're venturing into, any sort of enterprise, any sort of you're allowing for it to naturally just take place, and you're just being more open to it. Things are coming back to you like, oh, I didn't know about this one. Like, the whole thing you said about, oh, what is astrology is bullshit. Now it's like, okay, now it makes more sense. That's one of the things too that's coming through. So it could
Mm,
also be the witchcraft thing, the sorcery stuff, any of the magic stuff, any sort of mythological stuff that was against science, against it, has now coming together for you, and it's like, okay, making more sense.
yeah.
Um, we already talked about the your ascendant earlier. Here, uh, have you been introduced to some sort of real estate? Have you been sort of property sort of stuff as a money like a
Introduced. I
yeah.
mean, friend of my boyfriend's is looking into real estate, and my boyfriend was talking to me about it.
Okay.
That's the only thing that has happened lately.
Okay, cool. Because like it could be like that homes or sort of like it could also be like a mother figure coming in as well that helps you with money or how to earn money. But I would say real estate or homes or food for sure. Yeah. Something but making money through that. I don't know.
Mm.
Yeah. Have you been selling anything with food? Have you been interested in it at least? Okay.
Um,
Something like that.
I mean, I've had thoughts, but not really
Mhm.
actually done anything about it.
Okay.
Um, like bringing more Greek food to Denmark, for example.
Okay.
Mm.
But you did say you wanted that community thing, right? The agricultural stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
but
that's
that's more
that's one thing.
about
Yeah.
being an independent community. It's more
Yes.
about independence than agriculture per se.
Okay. That makes
Yeah.
sense because it's in the moon also rules the public, like people, not the public, not the government, but like people. So it could also mean like a sort of community, but a way to earn money.
Mm.
It's just a second house. So um, yeah, past stuff is coming through and you're learning about it. We already talked about that. Your south node is in the third house. Hmm, what's this one? Juno. Varuna. We never talked about Varuna. Okay, Varuna is Now, in your 1 second here. Let's double check. 2 degrees Leo. Okay. Okay. It's perfect. It's right in conjunction with your Imam Kweli. So your core beliefs are not only changing, but family. Do you feel like now you have more cohesion? Like you have your own family now? Do you have your own group of people that are close to you? You
Yeah.
think that are okay. Okay.
Hmm. Definitely more than the past. In the past.
Okay. Because there's something about Varuna that is about cohesion, but I want to take a look at it more closely. Maybe something to do with water. Are you swimming? Do you swim? What about anything moisturizing, liquids, uh,
Uh,
some fishing, trading,
no.
maritime trade, boats? Okay.
Mm, mm-mm. No, I grew up next to the water, and it looks like I got tired of it.
Okay. So at the very least, it's introspection. You have introspection, more introspection now. You're
That,
connecting
yes.
things a little bit. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, it's a little harder with it comes to like the more abstract houses. When I'm looking at the houses where it's more abstract, it's like how do I put that? So, but that's why I have all my cheat stuff. I have my cheat sheets and all that stuff. Um, so okay. Let's see. You want to change the date, or do you want to look into? Ah, do you want to look at more external, actual external stuff? Like we can look at transits, or we can. The solar arc is more about. It's kind of in between transit and your personal thing. Like it's both kind of an interpretation, but also kind of more literal. But
Mm.
you have a question though, so I can probably just go back to
Uh,
your natal chart and then change the date here.
Now I'm thinking maybe we do something predictive.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's take a look. Um. Okay, we'll use those basic planets there. The dwarf planets. I like using the dwarf planets, but they tend to be. Any questions though in terms of prediction? Like 10 years from now is okay. First of all,
Yeah. It's
10 years from. Okay.
10 years from. Yeah. I have no idea what might happen in 10 years. So why not? I have no idea what
Actually,
might happen in one.
I'm going to go back into your chart and see what is. Let's see if you're going to have any returns. A return is basically a huge. What do you call this? Things that need to be focused on, refocused on in life.
Okay.
Let's
Yeah.
see. So you said you're okay because you're still quite young, like because you're 30 something. So usually the ones that the big returns are the ones like Saturn return. That's a big one, but that happens around like the age of 50. So you're very far from that.
Let's
Um,
do 10 years.
sorry.
Uh, let's do 10 years. It's
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm very curious.
Okay. So let's try that. Oh, that was a 10-year thing. Sorry, I meant. Hold on. Let me see. Sorry. Let's see here. Mind you, I didn't plan for this one, so that's why I'm just like asking because I wasn't. It was just general, but I was like, "You're curious," so I'm gonna be like, "Okay, I'm open to that." So, let's see. Oh, you have a. That can't be a series return. That's interesting. No, it's retrograded. Doesn't make sense. Like right
Hmm?
here, that series right there. I th- I thought it was like a return. I was like, how is that a series return? A series return would mean that you are reevaluating what your sense of independence, your sense of like, security and your basic needs are met. Like, are you actually being honest with that? That's what it
Mm.
usually means. But it's not your series return here. I don't think so. Plus, it's like it's only within the same sign. It's in Capricorn still, and it only moved back. I feel like it's not a return. I'm not sure.
Well, what you said is happening. So
Ah, okay. So it is probably a return then. You're probably going to go through a return rather. Let's see. In
I
about
am trying to discover my needs and reevaluate things.
okay,
So
okay. Um, your North Node. I wonder if your North Node in Sagittarius was if it's square that. No, if it's trine. I wonder if that means anything. I've never done that before, where you have your North Node in Sagittarius right here, 23 degrees, and you have your North Node here. It's going to be 23 degrees. Oh, no, no, actually it goes backwards. Ah, you had a sort of, I don't think that means anything. I'm not going to go into that because I'm still new to certain things. I like experimenting. I like to
mm,
kind of like do what others astrologers have never done before, or at least what I've seen that they've never done before. I like to try because you never know what it means. Because I test it for myself. I look at my own chart all the time.
mm,
It's like, what does it mean? What does it mean? What is it? So
that's cool.
then I look at the evidence in my life and see, is that what it is? Okay, it's like, okay, that makes sense. So there's a light bulb. Oftentimes there's like light bulb moments, right? Why don't we look into same thing? So 10 years, we're gonna do transits because it's more external.
Mm,
We can look at solar arc like in 10 years from now, but that's more. We'll do the transits first. So 10 years from now, is there anything particularly that you're curious about, like a part of your life, an aspect of yourself and your life and your experiences that you would like to know a little bit more 10 years from now? Like, is it love? Is it money? Is it career? Is it uh, new things? Is not necessarily new things. Yeah, it could be that. Could be anything really.
um, let's say mm, career and money don't go together.
They can. They can.
Let's say yeah, family relationships and work,
So
vacation,
do you want to
career,
start with
money.
family?
Yeah,
So that's a
let's
lot.
do it.
Okay. Okay. Let's try family. So
I
that
kind of
means
group them together, like family relationships and all the rest.
okay, well we'll go with well because it's okay. Okay, we'll see let's see here. We never went through certain asteroids, so I never really introduced them yet. Like because there's so much already we're going through.
Yes.
Uh
Yeah, I was not
here,
expecting so much. It's
I should have
wow.
warned you, but
No, I mean you did it, but it might take from half an hour to how many? Um,
let's see. Okay, I'm gonna type in my. This is why I have my cheat sheet. So when I do a Control F or Command F, I go family. So Lilith and no,
so
Phaedra.
you have the planets and asteroids that are for each category, and then you choose
Uh,
them to show up in the
ish, sort
chart.
of. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like a planet in astrology doesn't always focus on one thing. It's like revolves
Mm,
because it's kind of because everything is connected, right? So everything there's it kind of it's almost like one aspect of let's say your finger. it's connected to your hand. So naturally, it's going to be that aspect of yourself, which is the finger, is also going to be part of this hand right here.
Mm.
I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like
Yeah.
it's not going to be separate all the time. Like it's, you know what I mean? Like it's.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you got it.
I do.
um. Okay. Cool. What else is there? So there's Phaedra. There's Cleopatra. We never went through Cleopatra, but Cleopatra is um has a lot to do with like father-daughter relationships. Um,
Mm.
what else? Achilles? Nope, he's not really that. Oh, okay, core. Deep-seated family issues. Uh, let's see what else. Andraste already did that.
What counts
Um,
when we say family? Like what does that involve? Because I consider family people that are very close to me, not
oh yeah, it's still
necessarily
going
just
to.
parents or
Yeah, it's still going to be that. It's still going
yeah.
to be. Yeah, it's still going to be anything to do with family. Any sort of like the because the thing is with any planetary body in astrology, they're based off of the mythology, right, or the
Mm-hmm.
stories, and they're reinterpreted to see what they mean for humanity,
Mm.
or the fragmented side of our consciousness. Therefore,
Yeah.
the greater consciousness So it's there's always going to be a link between certain asteroids with other asteroids or other planets with other planets, but it's going to be a slightly different aspect of it.
Mm.
Yeah. Um, let's see here. Nope, that's not it. Pride of one's family. Okay, so the moon is definitely family. That's one for sure. We can look into. Um, nymph. Nope. Cronus. Nope. Family. Family trauma. Sedna. Oh, of course, Sedna. Family trauma. Okay. Okay, let's take a look. Did I put 10 years? So 10 years from this date, or do you have a specific date?
No, this date sounds good.
Okay. Okay. So we're just looking at the transits. I'm going to choose this one instead. All right. Family. Okay. Well, it's okay. Hold on. So the inside is your birth chart. The ones in green are the transiting planets. So let's take a look. There's nothing in the fourth house, which is where I usually would start. So there's nothing there. 10 years from now, the big one is right here. So okay, you'll okay. Family issues will come back for you right here. An probably emotional forgiveness, maybe about 10 years from now. But also like not only wounding might come back, maybe questioning of you, like hmm, through the emotional healing, you probably go through some of the immune system transformations um, because this is your body. So particularly motherly figures. Again, remember this is a potential. We're not really
Hmm.
sure, but there might also be issues like with fat. Sedna rules blubber and fat.
Mm.
Because Sedna is just her story is that um, she was stuck in her own world, but she wanted to escape that. So she was enticed and seduced by this foreigner, who was a raven, and he guised himself as a human. So he took her away, kind of away from the responsibility of the family. But what happened was, because her father didn't like that, he went after them as they were running away. And but the raven revealed itself and created a storm, and that the father panicked. But then, and what happened was, as they were on a boat and they were shaking, and Sedna fell off the boat, but she tried to come back up the boat, but he was so scared of the storm. It's a huge storm, right? The father was so scared of the storm that he cut off her fingers.
Oy.
So what this means is that sorry. So what this means is that what this means is that it's betrayal. It's family betrayal, system betrayal, fatherly betrayals, or parental betrayals. In this case, it'd be like a motherly issues, betrayals, um, but also like release of that excess fat. But it can also be literal. It means that maybe excess stuff or gaining of it, maybe a healthy fat because of the healing through Chiron. So you're reintegrating the maybe food that in your life you might start to reintegrate new things in your life. It is in Gemini, so it could represent something different, new ideas, new um what is Gemini, what else rules? Hold on, let me double check. There's something about, I want to see what Gemini rules in terms of uh like food. Let's see. Little things for sure. So now we're going into like more details about like actual things for the body. So it could also be, hold on. Okay, here you go. Thin, feathery, ethereal. I don't know what this is. Ethereal and abundant flowers. Ethereal. I don't know what that is. Pleasing to the eye.
Of
Deep,
the
wide
ether.
roots. Sorry.
I guess it comes from the ether, ethereal.
Maybe I see ethereal. I don't know. I'll double check.
Mm.
Maybe I will. I don't know. But deep, wide roots, plants with a subtle. So when maybe plants, this specific type of plants might come into your life, but this is with the first house. But you might come across new ideas, little ideas that are like this is overall health as well. The first house is overall health. So I'm looking at like plants. Trees might that you might be introduced to include filbert, hazel, mulberry, myrtle. There could be more. Um, Plants with subtle but penetrating odor. Um, oh, dill. Okay, I don't know if you've ever had dill in your life. Fennel,
Yep, I have.
lavender. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, cool. Those kind of things. What else is there? But let's look at it from the mundane perspective. So maybe not just information, but also, let's see here. Hmm. I don't know. This is the first house, so overall health. But for sure, something to do with like the fat stuff. I keep getting fat here because I've said no. But you also have the moon there, so like new types of habits, maybe different. As long as you're healing from it, maybe something for your immune system as well. So healthier things, of course, is in Gemini. So lighter food for sure.
Hmm.
Lighter food. I was gonna say grains, but that's more with Virgo. It's in Gemini, so could be, but could be grains, could be little things too. Um, Maybe a new home, maybe like a not necessarily home, like kind of like a integration of what you had before with the new home that you have now.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's also this. Yeah. Okay. That's for now. Let's go into the second house. Writing for sure. Writing. Maybe your past is coming back to you, and it's being it's being, what do you call this? uh, not range. What's the word I'm looking? It's lit up again with the past. Any sort of skills you had in the past might come through.
Mm.
There would the multiple talents that you had, specifically with communication, writing, journaling, reporting. Okay. Um, what else is there? Yeah, something to do with like I don't know, but it's tied to government or it's tied to a sort of a system. It's tied to a sort of like um, you might possibly become like also your own like leader. I don't know, but it doesn't show like the whole agricultural thing. It doesn't show that. It shows writing right here as a money making thing.
Huh.
If it were the sorry,
I was like,
okay,
huh.
yeah, but there is going to be changes. You have here Uranus. You're going to probably experience certain unexpected changes. With with like how you earn money. Um, that could also be something revolutionary, not just sudden change. Um, it could be also something to do with activism, maybe electricity, maybe some sort of again unexpected change. Earthquakes might an earthquake might not that you will experience it in Denmark. Um,
Uh, who knows?
um, yeah. So with let's look at Adrastea. Oh, that's not it. Here, wrong cheat sheet. Adrastea is oops. What's that? She's about family obligations, powerlessness. It's part of us that when we decide to do something specifically with family, we feel like we're in debt. We're indebted to them.
Mm.
So responsibilities, house chores, those kind of things. Probably in this case, it's maybe about foster care. It could be adoption. Okay. Any sort of tradition that might come through. Let's see. Oh, sorry. Let's see what it's conjunct Phaedra. So actually, before I get into that, what else is there? Maybe volunteering, something to do with raising children, daycares, um, customer service. It's interesting. Um, oh, sorry to say this. Jobs of low income. Sorry.
Oh, damn.
No, I'm not saying that's your thing, but I mean, you might learn about it. You might talk about it. It's not in your second house. It's your third house. So that means you're learning about it. You probably have it on the side also. Maybe
Mm,
it's part of like something to do with neighbors. The third house is also rules neighbors. It's about neighbors. Um,
okay.
but also, but I feel like it's something to do with like adoption. Maybe it's adoption or through like stepchildren. Sorry. Oh, sorry. So I don't know how long your your relationship will be, unless you're polyamorous. If you're polyamorous, then that means it's like kind of like extra. You might meet someone who you feel probably an obligation to, and you might adopt, so to speak, their children.
Mm,
This person might be they might have their own child. Mm, or you might start to maybe you'll get it says here powerlessness, fear of husbands or patriarchal power. So it could be that whoever you are with at that time may ask you to get married, but you're like, fuck no. Because there's this fear that it's like I don't want to get married or anything like that. Um Paranoia, you might learn more about that as well. Um oh sorry. I'm sorry to say that, but tragedies, some sort of tragedy that you learn about, not necessarily with you, but maybe it could be someone like a sibling or someone a sibling figure because Mars is right here. So that means it's something to do with accidents, something to do
oh,
with yeah, it could be a sibling, could be a neighbor. Um if we were channeling this, if I would be a little easier. Like if I knew how to do the Akashic records, I don't do it.
are you learning how to do that?
I actually have channeled from the past. Yeah.
Mm,
It took an hour, but it was like I had to literally like surrender and I got these, well, images, and it's just, I don't know. It was actually it was really weird. It was like, really, this is what I'm getting. Okay, cool. I'm gonna keep going and just allow for it. So yeah, it's practice. Um, but
mm.
you also have Saturn there, so that means you have like, oh, sorry, what, you gonna say something?
No, no.
Okay, you also have Saturn there, so that means limitations in communication, or at least like a halt, like a sort of a stalling of communication, or maybe like moving within the country, like it might be stalled.
Mm,
If you're planning to move at that time. Uh, Venus there means that it's relationships that are coming in. Um, Maybe a marriage. I don't know. So it could, but it's tied to your fourth house. So maybe the fact that maybe you'll be asked to get married, or to have a sort of like maybe moving in someone's house, or they're moving into your house. Either way, it's sort of a moving into this is a fourth house. This is about house. It could also be marriage. But because of that, this whole Phaedra thing means like it's like there's you might reject that as well. So it depends. Maybe because
mm.
of the tragedy here, maybe an accident, something like that. I don't know. Opposite of your, yeah. So again, because of unexpected changes, if it's a foreigner, then it's something that a choice you have to make. So this right here showing that you have to make those choices based on those unexpected, changes right here. Um, Health-wise, Antigone. So we're still talking about some sort of family thing. Mm, Maybe your parenting, any sort of father attachment to any father figure, or your father. You weren't close to your father, right? Or were you? Oh, no, no, you could probably. Mm, what were the planets there again? You had several planets there. I remember seeing like your
We,
son
we didn't
had.
really we didn't really talk about the father, from what I remember. Um, but we were close and not that much at the same time. So
Oh,
he was there, but
oh, sorry. I thought you meant talking about. Okay, sorry. That's why I was laughing. Sorry. I don't mean to laugh. I'm just. You were close. Sorry. I thought you meant I was. Okay, got it.
um, yeah, so he was there physically, and I could feel his love for me, but then not mm, not that much
He didn't.
in an emotional at an emotional level.
Yeah. It was kind of like it had to be sort of like this, almost like a transactional relationship.
At least from my side.
Yeah. Because it was in Libra, and you felt like he probably didn't really believe what you said some of the time. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like there's something about Vulcan there. Let's take a look at Vulcan together. Vulcan, not Star Trek Vulcan. I don't know if you're interested. Uh, let's see here. Based on the myth, Vulcanus, god of fire, runs like this with lightning, which turns into flames. Okay, this Latin introduces. So he was what forging. So it's almost like maybe you had to kind of work at your relationship with your father.
Mm. I'll be happy if he lives in 10 years.
Hmm. But he kind of you had a kind of a gentle, but there was something about it that was kind of uncertain.
Yeah,
It was still okay.
he's a
It was like
he's a very nice man, but there was something in me that could see that something was off.
yeah, yeah, that's right. So trying to look at the mythology. There's a lot here, but that's about that's a general thing I could say about it. Um, Destructive, fertilizing powers of fire. Okay, it's almost like you had to work at it, but it's almost like for the sake of peace, right? That's a
Mhm.
Libra,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you had to do your own. You interpreted it the way you did, but it's also at the same time you had to, yeah, you had to forge it yourself. That's forgery. He's the god of forgery. So that in turn means that it's what your relationship entailed or meant. But with
Mm.
Antigone transiting your sixth house 10 years from now, um, any sort of father figure might, I don't know, something to do with your health. So that's still family, but it ties in with your issues with like any sort of subconscious thing, like with morality, uh, you being the parent. It's almost like you have to be the parent, maybe of a parent. You have to be the older one, sort of sense of responsibility, injustice, because it felt uneven or there was an inequality. Um, but it's in the sixth house, so it's probably going to affect you through your hands and feet, your neck area, backbone, spine, stomach area. What else is here? This right here, prefrontal. It says here orbital and something something with the brain. I don't know what it is. I
Mm.
feel like something there. I don't know. Filtering organs. Any of your liver, pancreas, lymph nodes. Lymph nodes, I think, is right here, somewhere here, and spleen. Any of the filtering organs. That's Antigone.
Mm.
So, but if it's tied in with like you know unresolved issues from the past, especially because you remember your Chiron is in Leo, so that's your father stuff as well. So if you have any issues with that or subconsciously, I think it affects you at a physical level as well.
Mm.
Yeah, Antigone is coming through, so that means like maybe a release of that as well. But either you have to filter through those things, any sort of filtering stuff happening. Uh, Cleopatra again ties in with the whole father-daughter issue. So, but Cleopatra on the sixth house, it's not. It's you see how it's like right there on the cusp of the sixth house. This is a cusp.
Hmm.
Um, it's conjunct that, so it's more to do with the sixth house than it is with the fifth house. So that means it's both. Yes, it's fifth house, more like your potential for connection and being yourself, but towards your health. So intimacy, right?
Yeah. Mm.
Specifically, yeah, intimacy would also, because Cleopatra represents, like, how you say when we say you marry your father or you marry your mother. That's Cleopatra. Whatever issues we had with our parent, with one parent, it's like that, right? Like for me, like the guys that I'm into are they kind of remind me of my father.
Mm.
It's weird. It's like, ew, right? But again,
Mm.
at a more physical level for the health, I would say so. There's a filtering system, the filtering organs, but also it says here muscle contractions. Oh, poisoning and toxins. The 23rd chromosome. That's interesting. Why did I put that there? Um, the mitochondrial DNA or the Y DNA. Something to do with that. I don't know.
Hmm.
But muscle contraction is the one that's obvious. I don't know if you'll be pregnant at all, like if you plan to be, or if you want to have children, but it could be like with the dizygotic pregnancy. I forgot what dizygotic pregnancy is. It's like something to do with toxins, or maybe it's not dizygotic. Maybe it's not toxic. Hold on, let me double check. Dizygotic. I'm not saying you're gonna get pregnant. I'm just saying. Oh,
Oh,
um,
my fear.
why?
That's my biggest fear. The becoming, being pregnant and having twins.
Oh, so there you go. Okay, then we go. We have
Not
a
not at.
revelation.
I won't be pregnant at 43. I don't think.
Okay,
That's a
okay,
bit old,
okay.
right? Yeah.
Hmm. Well, yeah, because if that is the case, then that means it's going to have, because they say, I believe that as we evolve as humans, I don't think age should be a problem with as you get older. But because of this thing we've been going
Yeah.
through for how many
Mm,
years, like the poisoning, all the artificial stuff, right? I think it's just that's why we have all these problems,
mm,
right?
fair.
So,
Yeah.
but in this case, I think that's why you're probably your subconscious is telling you don't get pregnant, not because you're free. It's the health stuff. It's for the children. It's for the future. I understand.
I think
Um,
it's more an ego thing. Like I'm going to lose freedom.
there
Basically,
you go. The
that's
Chiron. Yeah.
basically that's it.
Yeah, that's makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, yeah. That's why you're also here making sense. It makes sense that you're probably rejecting someone. It's starting to come together now. I feel like you're gonna reject someone and be like, say no, I don't want to get married. Someone moves in, you're like, okay, maybe you can move in, but that's it.
Mm,
I don't know. That's 10 years from now, eh? So,
sounds
um,
really possible.
yeah. And your questioning of your own career path might come in place.
In 10
You
years
don't maybe
again? Oh my.
well, I mean, that's part of the growth, right? It's never
Yeah.
life is a continuous thing. Yeah.
Mm,
Um, yeah. Maybe you start to feel disconnected in Denmark because of core here in retrograde. You feel like there's no connection anymore there. I'm not sure. It's in
mm,
retrograde, so it feels like you're doubting your flow in that country. Um, but speaking of countries, I want to see I want to see when you move. I want to see where it is in your chart, Denmark. So we're pretty much done here, but I have a few questions here
hmm.
because fordi jeg også kan snakke lidt dansk.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I'm trying to
How
show
come?
off, but I'm not. Um, well, I took it in university, but
What? You had
det var
Danish in
alt for, det
university?
var alt for, ja, det var alt for kedeligt.
Hmm.
Jeg lærte ingenting. Jeg lærte ikke noget. Og ja,
Du kan snakke lidt dansk.
okay,
You remember
tak.
stuff?
Yeah. But that's why now I try to do what's called sprogudvikling,
Mm.
acquisition, like rigtig
Oh, so
naturligt.
you're practicing now.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I'm not practicing it. I'm acquiring it, and then when it comes naturally, it
Mm.
comes out. Like
How are you doing
I
that?
don't know if you've heard of sprogudvikling. It's
Uh, not as a process. Or
okay, okay, okay. På engelsk hedder
interesting.
den uh, language acquisition.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, it would help me because I've been here for 7 years and I still don't really. I can't really communicate in Danish.
Oh, okay. Well, just
Yeah,
well, Scandinavians, they're very Scandinavian
very
mennesker
good
er
at English.
rigtig,
Very good
yeah,
at English.
yeah.
And when you try to
So
say something in their language and they don't understand, they just switch.
Yeah. Do you find that kind of offensive,
Uh,
or at least
uh
like
a little bit. It doesn't help
invalidating?
with my fear.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So next, måske kan du næste gang, når du taler med en dansker, tvinger dem at tale dansk, på dansk.
Yeah.
Nu på dansk. No, sorry.
No,
Kun på dansk. Sorry,
kun
I
på
was
dansk.
confused. Kun på dansk.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was German. Sorry.
How many
Okay. A
languages are you
fan.
acquiring?
Right now, it's Slovak, Slovene, because what I'm doing with languages is I'm following what my chart says.
Oh,
Yeah. So actually, I'm going to look into your chart.
okay.
So when did you move to Denmark? Oh, you moved to Denmark for health reasons.
No, not as far as I know. I moved for
Well,
education and maybe for my mental health.
that's right. That's what I mean. Yeah, health is
You
like
can
general
also say
health too.
that.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But it was definitely a curiosity for you, right? Right here.
Yep.
It's like um, but
Definitely an
it's
escape in some way.
uh-huh. Yeah. For me, my Denmark is in my 11th house. It means
What does
that
that mean? Yeah.
I'm supposed to technically build its community. I don't know how that works. I'm not sure, but it's trine my north node. So when it's trine aspect, you remember the aspects? So it means I'm in flow with the language, meaning
Mm.
like like this is why I speak Danish, because it flows naturally. Like the other ones, like for example, like Swedish, I can. It takes a while. Um, German, for my chart, it just says that I moved there or I traveled there. It's in my ninth house. So and I did travel there. And Italy is also there too. Japan is also there. So it's like,
Hmm.
whoa, isn't that amazing? It's like, whoa, what? Yeah.
Okay. Hmm.
So actually, let's take a look at. Do you want to look at certain countries?
Yeah.
Or is there a
So
country
I
that you're?
choose, or
Sure, yeah.
so I've been thinking
Sorry.
about. I, I've been to Egypt lately, the first country outside of Europe.
Okay, let's take a look.
Norway, Japan, and Mexico. I want to go in the future.
Okay, let's take. Oh, Japan is this one,
Nippon.
and Norway.
Yeah, Norway and Mexico.
Did some asteroids don't exist for? Hold on, let's see. I'm gonna do this one for now, and then I have a huge list for Central America.
Mm.
I have this literally like these huge like asteroids for those. Norway. Okay, something to do with career.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Actually, I forgot to change the date. Not today's date. Not 10 years from now, but today. I want to see where that shows up. Okay, yeah, something still to do with your career. Um,
Hmm.
but there might be issues with the whole relationship stuff and your own freedom. Even though you could just go there to visit, maybe you'll have connections. You don't know. It might be something different, right? In Aquarius. But definitely like issues with because it's opposite your Chiron. It's almost like Norway will it'll trigger you in some way.
Hmm. Okay.
It could be, yeah, in one way or another. It could be a trigger for you or something like that, where it reminds you of your past, and you never know. I can't specify the details in terms of like, the specific experiences. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities. You might be there for career wise. You might have a connection there because of the Aquarius community, or you might meet someone weird there, or it might just be weird for you, and it'll just be like too weird. What the heck? It'll probably feel like not at home, like you won't feel at home because you have it's square your moon. So that means it's like I don't feel really stable here.
Mm.
That's what it's saying to me. Yeah. And this is
Okay.
today. This is for today. Oh no, no, this is for your birth chart. Sorry. Sorry, my bad. This is for your birth chart. Denmark. Okay, there you go. Denmark. You moved there out of curiosity. There you go. Yeah, right here. When did you move? When did you move there?
2016.
Okay, that makes sense. So that means Denmark was probably around here in your first house. Okay, got it. Cool. And let's take a look at Norway. I was wrong. You might feel at home there. Forget it. At first, when you're born, it was like no, but you were in Greece. You were in Greece, but now it's in your fourth house. It's transiting your fourth house. So okay, if you feel drawn to it, it might be like home.
Mm.
Give it a try. Again, probability. Remember probability.
Yeah, yeah. The plan
Uh,
was the plan is just to go for fun and nature.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. Don't be surprised if you feel a little bit like cozy there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Japan is definitely more for that health thing. The remember you told me earlier you were there in Japan. You moved to Denmark for out of curiosity, right? Um, but that was when I saw your birth chart. When you moved, it was already in your first house. So that's why you said curiosity. I'm like, oh yeah, that's the first house. But here now, Japan, it might be a little uncertain because it's in retrograde, and it might be like because of health stuff, or at least you'll feel like, I don't know about the health stuff here, but you can always give
So
it a try.
there can be better times to go to Japan, let's say.
Well, if we change the date, we don't know. Let's take a look.
The plan
If we
is to go
change the
in
year,
2025
oh,
autumn at some point. So
okay, let's change
October,
September,
October,
October.
September, whatever. Yes.
So, okay, I see it moved. Japan. Yep. Oh, okay. It's open. It's not retrograde, but it is. You feel a certain. Yeah, there's that. There's the whole career stuff. Again, maybe the connections, maybe a community, maybe build friends, maybe make friends there. You might find it really super strange. I don't know, but it'll be conjunct your natal Saturn,
It
so
is
that
a
means
strange
it'll.
country.
Yeah, there are
Yeah.
alpha
Hmm.
magni. Yeah, yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. So there you go. That's a general thing. Any other country? Oh, Mexico. That's right. Hold on, let's take a look. I'm gonna look at several South American countries. Technically, Mexico is not South America. I know. We're gonna look at this one. Let's see what pops up. Okay. So there's gonna be like where you feel at home. Guatemala, Chile would be kind of home for you. Well, 2025. Do you want to? When do you want to go to Mexico?
Uh, there's no plan. Um,
Okay.
let's say 2026.
Okay.
Uh, spring.
Okay.
Optimistic.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Der går at være optimistisk. Yeah.
Mhm.
Brazil, you could be traveling to Brazil. That's a potential.
I'm being drawn to ancient stuff. So I went
Yeah.
I went to
Yes, that's
Egypt,
right. I know.
and now I want to go to Mexico and see the other pyramids.
Okay, so let's take a look if we get Mexico here. I thought I had, 1 second. Maybe there is one specific asteroid. Because when I looked it up, actually, I know what to do. Um, uh, copy, paste. Don't you love shortcuts?
Yes.
Okay, Mexico. Ah, here you go. 10806. Okay. Yeah. But where's where the pyramids, did you say?
Where?
Is that the pyramids you're curious about?
Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
so we're gonna go with, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
yeah, it's the mystery surrounding the
Is
pyramids in
that
general.
is that in the Yucatan? That's in the Yucatan Peninsula, right? I think
Maybe.
so. Okay, that's okay. We'll take a look. Oh, okay. Health related stuff. 2026 doesn't sound like too promising.
I'll be
But Mexico,
bitten by a snake.
maybe. Well, well, yeah. Wow, what? Yeah, maybe the toxic stuff. Yeah, I would avoid for now. But you do
Mm.
have Mexico in your birth house, your birth chart itself. Your natal Mexico is your fifth house, so you would technically have fun there.
Mm. Okay.
But that's just Mexico. That's not necessarily Yucatan. However, in 2026, oh, so that's a Yucatan. But Mexico for 2026, it'll bring up the past. Ah, yes, you can. Yeah, Mexico itself, but not necessarily Yucatan. So,
Okay. Mm.
um, what if we change the date? I'm going to change the date here. Let's go 2030. Sorry, way ahead into the future. Sorry. Oh, okay. Still retrograde, and Jupiter's retrograde there. And when Jupiter gets close to Yucatan, it's going to feel like it's if it's in retrograde, both of them. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Sorry. Maybe you should have
It's
traveled
okay.
earlier.
Oh,
Maybe
I
if we
missed
went
the
like
train.
2020, if we went 2020, you could have gone to Mexico. Yeah, it could have been curious for you, Mexico right here. But that Yucatan is here. Oh, you would just be dreaming about it. The 12th house right here. That's in
Mm.
2020. Okay, now let's go into 10 years from now. Oh, that's way too far. Let's go with 2032. I love experimenting like this because that means is your butt tired? Are you okay? Sorry, I keep forgetting to ask.
It is a bit, but it's okay.
Okay. 2036. So okay, that means 2032. That means the asteroid travels it orbits the sun quite fast. Sorry,
Mm.
let's try to change that
So I
one.
didn't miss the train.
Not
Nice.
really. Okay. I thought I saw Yucatan in the. That's weird. You said 2030, right? No, I said 2030. You said 2026.
The first one was 2026.
Okay, so it says here right there. It's you want it to be in the ninth house because if it's in the ninth house, that means it's good to travel. But why is it not in 2032? Why is it not showing? Why is it all the way there? That's so strange. Okay, so 2032.
Can you hear that?
No, I
Okay.
heard something. What is it?
It's the TV.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Um, yeah, so around 2032, Mexico. That's what I see.
2032. Okay.
Sorry, because
That's
if you went
many
into
years now, but I have patience.
maybe 2027, let's try this one. Yucatan. You can have your community there. You might feel a sense of community, and it's open. It's not retrograde. So it's direct. It's what we call direct. Um, oh, you might find someone there. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I know you already have. I know you have someone else, but I know I'm polyamorous. So for me, it's like, okay, cool. Bigger the
Mm.
better. Sort of. I sort of have a limit. But anyways, I'm digressing.
There's
Um,
so much time.
so
How many
2020.
how many people can you
No,
have time
actually,
for?
I'm okay with like ja ja Vorträge, men.
Mm.
Oh, så kan det godt være 3 os. Ja,
Mm.
3 ja, i partnerskaben.
Okay.
Kun 3, måske 4, men
Fun.
yeah, so yeah. Okay, so 2027. This has been actually kind of fun. So Egypt, though, right? Oh, I forgot to mention that. One last one. Okay,
I
we're almost
already
done.
went there, but it's interesting to see yeah, what it says for the past, I guess.
Mm. What does it say about Egypt? Oh, Aegyptus. They use the Latin name, of course. They always do that with the asteroids. They use Latin name. So let's take a look at. We're going back this year. See what it says here.
So I went in 2023, February or March.
Okay. Well,
March.
okay. Did you felt a good like you felt a good sense of self-worth there? You felt kind of like leisure. It felt kind of pleasurable, like a connection.
Yes. Um, yes, with some uh, what's the word? Not shame, guilt. With some guilt because of how the people there were interacting with us, and
Oh.
being the rich tourist. Um, so yeah, it was very nice, but it also brought up some guilt.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I can understand. There might be something there. Unless you what is guilt is a big thing, but you feel bad for it, maybe because um it was a gift was what is this 29 degrees Taurus 29 degrees Taurus 29 degrees. Well, it's really opposite of your is that 29 degrees? Hold on. 20 Oh no, 27. Okay, so it's close to right here. Okay. Yeah, I can see why. Because it feels like, yeah, the relationship you had with them, how you're relating, wasn't in flowing. It was kind of like, yeah, I
Very
can see why.
transactional.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was opposite your seventh house. Although you were curious about it, it opposed your Venus. I would say somewhere where it's I think you're being drawn to it now because if we looked at, let's say, we changed not only the year but the month as well. Let's say, okay, so let's say we go in this year, right? Let's say we go into not now, but let's say earlier this year. Let's say just February, right? I believe that right here, see, right there. You probably earlier this year probably didn't know if you were sure if you could go into that, but it was transiting your south node. That's why you're feeling that. It's bringing up the past. There's something about the past that it's bringing up.
Mm,
So, yeah, Egypt is a very. Do you follow Robert Grant?
yes.
Okay, yeah, okay, there you go. See, there's a
And
reason why we're talking. Okay, keep going.
I learned about the alpha and omega on the sarcophagus after I went. I'm like, no.
That's okay. You
Yeah,
can go back. You can go back.
but
But like I said, you're
I
starting.
definitely want to make more money and just rent the pyramid for a night.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, that's a goal.
Mm. Yeah. If it's let's see if it's conjunct your north node. Let's see what huge jump here. I don't know when it's gonna conjunct your oh I know. I know. I know. I know. Maybe you can try this one. We can do can we actually put it in here? Yes we can. Yes we can. Let's go with 2025. Let's try that. Actually let's go from now, 10 years from now, this ephemerides will show me where the asteroid Aegyptus will be transiting. And if it's anywhere close to your north node, which I'm going to double check here, north node is 23 degrees Sagittarius. I love astrology this way because it's so technical and you're like, oh, you can actually predict things literally, specifically. Um, okay, so 10 years from now, show the ephemeris. So that way I can track back and see what, if it's in 23 degrees Sagittarius, close to that, that's when you'll feel the calling. It's not
Hmm.
about past lives, it's about the future. Let's take a look. So Aegyptus right there. Leo, come on, give me some more. Is this 10 years? Hold on, let me double check. Ephemeris for 10 years. Yeah, that's weird. Am I doing that right? Let me remove that one. That way it's clear. Hold on, what was that one? Show time and date of time zone. No, it's okay. That's not important. 23. Okay, we're close. Sorry. Okay. 23 degrees. What's it? 23 degrees, 14 minutes. 23 degrees, 14 minutes. So around January 5, 2029. So fucking fun.
So
So you can,
that's when I'm going to be called again.
that's when you might feel it, but you probably might also resist it. But I think that would be a good time because that means you start to fulfill it.
Hmm.
Yep, right there. Oh, it's going to be past it. Let's move it. Okay, let's change the day a little bit. Did they say February 5? Oh, because 23 degrees 10. Okay, that's weird. I'm going to go February 4. This is how I do my reading sometimes, and it takes patience, but I'm sure you understand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, one more. Let's do 2 dates ahead of that. Instead of February 3, February 1. Ah, darn it. Okay. Let's go. Why is it not doing that? It says February 1, so 23 degrees. Why is it not calling that? Either way, it's still going to be around February 1 or before that. January, say 25. Oops. It's pretty close. So a little bit around January, I would say.
Hmm.
But to be,
It's a good time to go
no,
to Egypt.
I would, yeah, but I want to be precise with you. I want to make it so that it's, yes, it's very close. Okay, got it. They're getting there. I'm going to jump 5 days. Perfect. So around right here, January 10, 2029, it'll be conjunct your north node. Your sun will be. Oh, let's go look at Jupiter. Okay, Jupiter will still be in your sixth house, so lots of good health there. Perfect. Your moon will be your moon will be conjunct Aegyptus, your home. It means it's going to make you feel more emotionally connected, more aligned, possibly. Let's see if there's anything square Aegyptus. 23. Okay, so yeah, your own. No, no square. No square. Except, hold on, 23 degrees. So we look into square, meaning it has to be 90 degrees, around 90 degrees, give or take a few
Mm.
degrees. Like usually it's about 6 degrees. These are degrees. You probably noticed it already. These are degrees. So 23. mm, So it has to be 23 degrees Pisces or 23 degrees Virgo, 23 degrees. Nope, no squares. So no big challenges. Perfect time.
All right.
Um, Definitely more
Number
serious,
29.
like serious. Definitely more serious, like internalized communication. With like when you're getting there. I looked at Jupiter's because Jupiter rules like just like Sagittarius, it rules long-term distance travel. So that means traveling also by plane, literally also getting there and getting home.
Mm.
So because your North Node is trying your Chiron, by following your North Node, you heal more. This is why I'm looking at your North Node. Anything you do with your
Okay.
North Node, anything forward, moving forward, helps you heal. So you're right. There's something about Egypt. But 2029, January 10, you know, play around with it. But January 10 might be yours. It could be even earlier, maybe January 8. Because I'm looking at it like it's like 1 degree off, unless we change the date. Okay, let's I'm so picky. Sorry. 5. I'm like this. I look at the little. Ah, you have Venus there too. Oh, okay. Okay, some kind of relationship. I don't know. Maybe you'll connect, not necessarily a relationship with people, but maybe a guide, a
Mm.
transformational guide. It could be something because it's spiritual, right? So, or it
Yeah.
could be a person. I don't know. But are probably like in good, alignment. But I'm also going to look at one little thing. So I'm
Yeah.
going to do is I'm going to,
What is calling me there is spiritual in nature. So that would make sense.
and your
Yeah.
angel is your North Node too, right? So let's take a look at angel. What else was in your chart? Hold on, let me double check here. Mm, Circe, Astrea, Angel, Nemesis. Yeah, so memories. Yeah, perfect. You don't mind, but I'm still gonna take a look at the chart, like the other asteroids that were tied to your birth chart. Circe, Astrea, and what else is that? Persephone. I'm gonna skip money. We don't need to worry about money. Money was money.
Money's energy.
Yes, exactly. There you go. So we have Aegyptus there. We have Astrea. So okay. Perfect. Astrea will be like you're kind of like standing your ground when it comes to your own general health or specific health itself. It's conjunct Aegyptus. It's so it's going to you'll be able to communicate that easily. Oh, you remember your past life. Oh, but it's internalized. You'll be kind of questioning it a little bit, but you might remember your past life. There's a potential for that, but it's internalized. You kind of
Mm.
question it again and again. Perfect. Oh my god, that's awesome. And then okay, your connection might be a little. You might question it. It might feel a little awkward, but at least it'll be something you're curious about. You'll be more in touch with it emotionally. Um, Angel, what else? By that time, your Chiron is in retrograde, so it's still going to bring up some stuff, and you might find different ways of processing that through the meditation, any sort of reflective state here in Saturn. It's in your dreams. So if you go into meditation or dream state or theta state, there, Cersei might be, oh, okay, community of witches, community of source, magic, in similar Cersei sort of thing. There's a reason why you picked up that book. You're reading about Cersei. There you go. Um, Definitely escape towards that place. It'll be something spiritual. It's tied to your 12th house, conjunct your the cusp of your 12th house. So it's something where you probably feel you escape to. Again, your Mercury Pluto here will be. It was retrograde when I changed the day, but this time it's not retrograde. I think it will eventually go into retrograde, but we moved back earlier, right? A different day. So you'll feel also kind of at home. Your the culture, societal North Node, the culture, the whole population North Node will be in right here, is in Capricorn, I believe. Let's check here. 13 degrees Capricorn. So this is societal North Node, meaning like we're headed. That means by that time it's going to feel like I think it's 2029. Why is it? Okay. Anyways, 13 degrees Capricorn. It's going to be conjunct the Sun and Core, I believe. Why is Core still there? I put Core there. I don't know why. Either way, it's going to be conjunct Sun, so that means it's going to feel like it's going to be aligned. You're going to feel like you're kind of going along with what society there is going to feel like. It's going to feel like you're in blending with what's happening there. And I'm not just saying this positively. I'm just reading what it says here. The 13 degrees North Node. I'm looking at squares. 13 degrees. Nope. 13 degrees. Okay. So yeah, past, not necessarily your memories of the past might come through, but society, maybe even like connection. Maybe because it's in Cancer, past lives, like particularly like your lineage, like your line, like your soul family, maybe. You never know. Your soul family might come through. I don't know. This is a good chart. I'm going to save this. I'm going to close this one. Okay, got this one. I'm going to save this. I'm going to send this
So
to you. Okay.
5th of January 2029, I'm going to Egypt.
Well, if you do plan to do that, if you feel called to, eventually, sometimes when we forget certain things like this, even if we know it through the chart, sometimes we forget it and then we do it anyways. There's something about the energies, right? The charts are just showing what the stars are saying. Whether we choose to do it or not is up to us, but somehow there's a pull. But there's always a choice. It's weird,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's like, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
That's why
The one
I
thing
personally
I
don't. Okay.
the one thing I regret is Matthias de Stefano, right?
Yes.
Yes. So he went to Egypt in 2022 and with many people to do his thing. And I was thinking about going and I didn't. And then I was like, no, why did I not do this? I went next year, but it's not the same, right?
Were you were you hoping to meet him, or was it more about
It's
in
more
that
about,
energy?
yeah, the energy, and he's a he has some crazy adventures, that guy. I mean, I want to be part of that.
Yeah, I feel that too. As a Libra, we want a connection, right? We want connection. That's very important to us. A lot of people don't get that. Libras, we just, even though we love love, we we understand that there's a reason for connection and inclusion. We have this understanding. That's why sometimes we go blip, 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 because we're trying to debate, we are trying to assess things, right?
Big time.
Yeah, yeah. Other people don't get it. Like, I mean, not that it's not a bad thing that people don't get it. It's just, I don't know. I have Pluto Sun in Libra, so for me, relationships are important. They are so much so that sometimes I do the opposite. I do this, right?
Mm,
Depends on who it is. If I can't be myself completely, then it's just like, I'm sorry, no. Yeah.
mm.
Um, but yeah, so there you go. So I saved that chart. The Mexico one was kind of interesting. So what I'll do is I'll send you, well, I'll save those copies, but if you want to have a copy, not that you need to, I mean, like, you're not going to. Oh, I want to
I don't
know where,
understand that.
okay,
Um,
but is it something you're curious about? Or
I
is it
am,
more about,
yes.
okay, let's take a look at actually two asteroids that I work with that are about astrology. I'm just curious myself. Sorry, this is more
Mhm.
for me. I hope you don't mind. And then we're done after this one. Sorry, let's go.
You wanna do? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have, okay. Naturally, you have Uranium 9 degrees. Uh, okay, it's part of like your path. It's part of your higher educational sort of philosophy, like where it'll be part of what you feel is like your education. And at the same time, it's something you're more like, yeah, you're curious about. It's something you could be learning about. It's more about curiosity though. But
Mm,
sometimes it feels like maybe it might conflict with your sense of identity. However, if you work at it, you'll understand it. There's an understanding of it. You have this sextile there, this aspect, but then it's square your sun. However, you can work through it. It'll be something that is it might help you with relationships, but it's not part of your path. It's not part of your actual path. It's just something additional. Um,
yeah,
the Cersei,
it would be interesting to search for my path through this and see if it feels right.
yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
if you can do that. You
yeah,
said
yeah,
that
yeah.
the north node. You said
Node, yeah, right here,
yes,
yeah,
the north node is um, where you're called to heal, or
yeah. You're called to heal. It's trying your Chiron, your birth Chiron.
mm,
So,
it would be good to know that, unless it's one thing.
unless it's
Um,
one thing. What do you mean?
uh, like if my wound is not losing my identity at a young age and trying to find it,
Mhm.
then how can I use this to guide me? This north node. I guess that's my question.
Yeah, yeah. It's the North Node is basically your path forward. It's connected always to the South Node. So when you have a South Node, North Node, when that's always the case, and what that means is that when we look at where we're headed, we also cannot forget where we're from, because the past helps us to kind of carry over the skills of the past to now. So for you in general, with its South Node in Gemini, your your gifts from the past can allow you to move towards your present, which is towards your healing, your finding your ground, standing your ground, and actually creating boundaries, but also a bit more risk taking. Um, what else did I find? And that whole thing with Cersei right there. I believe you're on that path. Like Cersei is one of the things that rang to me because for me that's also interesting. Although I don't have those in my North Node or important paths. I have Imhotep conjunct my sun. So and my North Node is Leo. So I look at the sun. So that means that my path has a lot to do with what I enjoy. This
Mm.
is what I enjoy. So my modality has a lot to do with this, or at least something calculative, technical. Not too much, just enough. Um, and it's other. I also have other forms of divination. Like I have tarot cards, oracle. I have runes as well. Um, and that's
How
it.
long
That's
how long did it take you to learn all these things?
Oh, astrology. Well, astrology. I've been doing
Astrology
it since
and other forms of.
2010.
Oh, okay. Mm.
Well, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. I've been doing astrology for 2000 since 2010, but it was on and off. It's been more consistent last year.
Okay.
So, but it depends on the person. For you though, you have like a lot of stored energy, right? You can do it if you want to do something, even if it's like magic, even if it's like plant medicine, you're learning about it. You can go through it because you have this stored energy. You have Venus conjunct Pluto. So it's really about relationships, but it could also it's a personal planet. Venus is a personal planet. So that means that's a part of you that if you take time and work through it, you have that stored energy. That's Pluto. Pluto is have high reserves of energy. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm.
This is why what do you call this? This is why Scorpio and actually Aquarius, because it's ruled by Saturn, not just Uranus, but also Saturn. What that means is that these two actually have high reserves of like they're tenacious, tenacious energy. So for you, you have that too. It's just a
Mm.
matter of like. Plus, you have Sun in Virgo, so all it is about being practical and doing the little things, one thing at a time. Little things, one thing at a time. Because Libra wants to connect, right? But because you have the Virgo energy as well, you're kind of more grounded. So you have that earth energy. That's why it's also good to be tied to the earth as well. It gives you more energy. I don't know.
Mm.
So yeah. Um yeah. So you can tap into this. I can help you with this one too. If you have any questions, I know the Libra energy is more about reactiveness and all that stuff. Um, but I think that if you have questions, you'll ask me. So, you know, but yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Well, I mean, you can also help me, and you're already helping me now by helping me. Like, oh yeah, that's right. Because from your experiences, it helps me. So yeah, and it helps me. Others it helps you become like this. It becomes indirect help to others because you are helping me through your experiences. Like it's evidence.
Mm.
There's certain evidence. Like I discovered. Like, oh, okay, yeah,
Mm.
cool.
Yeah, you were
Um,
pretty spot on with many things.
darn it, not 100%. I don't care. It's fine. It's what it is. It's just because of my interpretation. Like
As
sometimes,
you said, it's probabilities, right? Oh.
yeah, that's right. And again, because of the probability, and you know about the quantum physics things, right? That if you make a choice and you take a different route, it doesn't mean that that other choice is not true. It just means you took a different route. That's
Mm.
why there's multiple realities, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's exactly what happened. So you might have been like, oh, I could have traveled to India, but I didn't. But it's still going to show up, right? Yeah,
Mm.
good. Cool. And I think that's it. Any other questions? So I hope that was. I think that was fun. I don't know.
It was fun. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay. Um, any other questions, let's say for the future? You can always we can always do it again. We can do another one that's more specific. Not anytime soon. Whenever.
Hmm. I guess an observation. Um, when we were looking into past lives, and you said
Mhm.
that you talked about talents and doing different things and being in different places. I feel like I'm trying to do that now, even though um, let's say a couple of years ago I was like, oh, um, I want to go into spirituality and um, go more into the other part. That you're like, oh, this is why you came in this life to do these things.
Mhm.
So I'm following. It seems like I'm following the patterns
Yes.
because they feel safer.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I do feel the calling for um, not disconnecting really, but being more with myself and the Circe vibe.
Yeah. Mhm.
Mm,
Yeah. If
yeah.
well, I can. What I'm going to do right now is what have you learned so far with Cersei?
What I've learned. Mm, that she grew up being pretty much invisible and having that
Mhm.
trauma of
Mhm.
not really being herself.
Yep. Mhm.
Um,
Unexpressed power. Yep. She
yeah,
has. Yeah. I'm looking at
and
my notes now too, so I'm like, yep.
um, trusting in people, but then um, being betrayed,
Mhm.
um, trying to find love,
Mhm.
mm,
Mhm.
yeah, and then discovering her power and feeling more confident.
Mhm. 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 She was also seen as a prostitute. She was
Yeah,
right. She was kind of seen like a she. I think she was misjudged. I think or something like that. She was ostracized for being like a whore, and this is really dark stuff, right? But that's why she went into seclusion.
there was
Uh,
this thing about falling in love with a human and then making him a god. I don't know. That's from the book. I don't know if it's
oh, okay. I heard she made
following the mythology.
yeah.
But she made him into a god with using magic. But the guy didn't know that she did that, so
Mhm.
he kind of abandoned her. Um, because he tried to find his tribe with the other gods or titans.
Mhm.
Um, and then she what's the word? She made her cousin or what was she into Skila because she got jealous of her wanting to be with her beloved ex-human. Um, and then I think Circe told the Titans that she did those things, and I don't remember if that's why she was ostracized. Mm,
Mhm.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think that's why.
that's the thing about witches, the idea of witches and sorcerers, specifically witches. It's like witchcraft is a connection to timelessness. It's a connection to full it's submitting yourself to the highest all the power that is and to the timelessness that is. It's like being a witch is kind of like there's a lot of talents associated with it, but it's not about the talents. It's making use of the magic. It's allowing yourself to be either the conduit or making a conduit. I understand it because it's like, or at least I think I understand it. I feel like I understand it. It's just that the fact that the story says he's like, oh, she made a god. What? So
And
you
then
see
she
the
was
power there?
ostracized because he had power.
Exactly. But it's not about like for yourself. It's the thing about yeah, the thing about it, it's you become the conduit for the magic. So it's like I don't know. It's interesting. It's that's why I like working with these two. I have Hecate. I like working with Hecate as the asteroid and Circe in astrology,
Mm.
along with Urania and Imhotep. Those four planets to me resonate a lot. Oh, and also Horus. Horus is the five clairs.
The five,
Or
sorry.
clairs. Clairvoyance, clairaudience, something,
Ah,
something,
mm.
something. Yeah, yeah, the five clairs. So yeah, so I think those are powerful asteroids, and I think I do asteroids because I like it because they're little. You know, we tend to think it's oh, Jupiter, it's huge. Oh, it must be important. Not always.
Mm.
You know, size is not what matters. How you use it. So I don't know. I'm like I'm for the underdog. That's why.
Mm.
That's why I also got into Danish because it was like, oh, it's an underdog language. But at least, yeah. So okay, cool. I'll let you go. It's late for you, so I apologize for that. But thank you, and thank you for
No,
being
no.
patient.
Thank you so much. It's been fun and revealing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
I hope you're I hope you're not too sore. I'm sorry.
I'll go exercise tomorrow.
Okay. Well,
Yes.
let me know what your questions are. If you have any more questions in the future, whatever it is, you have me as a contact. So
Yes. I'll
yeah,
digest and ask if anything comes up.
yeah. And I'll post this as soon as I can. But it's gonna take a while because it is about 5 hours. But that's fine. This is
Wow.
longest I've done actually.
It is? Wow.
Yeah. Well, longest I've done recorded.
Mm.
The longest I've had was about 7 hours, but not necessarily like because to me this isn't about the task. This is about connection. That's what it is to me. So, yes.
I'm very grateful for this.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Also talk namely, talk namely. Yeah. So, anyways, oh, my Danish, it's not that good. Anyways, cool. I will see you next time. Let me know if you have any questions. But good to have you on the show. No problem.
Thank you for
Okay.
having me.
And Evcharisto,
Παρακαλώ.
I'll see you later. Thanks, Ellie.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.